hGlobal TV subscribe.
Global community, what's the deal? What's the deal? Today we got another compilation of videos that's non-mainstream, non-biased. We got a lot of different situations going on within the
hGlobal
US
TV
and
subscribe.
with outside the US. I'm sure y'all know the temperature and the hostility and the universe and the frequencies we feeling. We're gonna get rid of that indoctrination that they've been giving us this whole lifetime of ours, and we're gonna get to the truth. Drop them globes in the chat. Hit that like button before you start. Don't stop watching until the end. Let's get to it. Drop them globes in the chat.
And Iran does not want a ceasefire.
We are not asking for a ceasefire. And we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the US. When we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us, and there is no request for the negotiation with the US from us. We have never sent any message.
He needs to secure the future of civilization and will now shift his focus from inhabiting Mars to instead building a self-growing city on the moon. And he says it can be done in less than 10 years. It marks one giant pivot for the billionaire. As recently as last year, he had planned to send an uncrewed mission to Mars by the end of 2026, a first step for a full Mars operation. But on Sunday US time, Musk tweeted SpaceX has already shifted focus to building a self-growing city on the moon, as we can potentially achieve that in less than 10 years, whereas Mars would take 20 years. And SpaceX will also strive to build a Mars city and begin doing so in about 5 to 7 years. But the overriding priority is securing the future of civilization, and the moon is faster.
That seems like a great humanitarian thing to do, right? But he doesn't need our opinion or our decisions or our approval to change his mind on what he wants to do with his billions upon trillions of dollars. That's all a laundry front anyway, entertainment purposes only. Let me know how y'all feel about it.
Behind the change, one reason could be competition. The US, which hasn't sent an astronaut to the moon's surface since 1972, is now in a race against China and Russia, with all three seeking to put a nuclear reactor on the moon to sustain human settlements. SpaceX is already involved in NASA's Artemis program to return humans to visit the moon. It has already seen several delays and problems, but Elon Musk is renowned for a moon.
U.S. troops were told the war in Iran is biblically sanctioned and part of a divine plan, and that is why they must fight in it.
Everyone will have access to medical care that is better than what the president receives right now.
So don't go to medical school.
Yes, pointless. I mean, unless you... But I would say that applies to any form of education. You're not going to medical school.
Younger generation says, I do not want that human touching me, right? When the surgeon comes over. There are going to be those people later in life who still want a human in the loop.
Sure. I mean, let's just take... Like we've seen some advanced cases of automation, like LASIK, for example, where the robot just lasers your eyeball. Now, do you want an ophthalmologist with a hand laser?
No.
Out of the simulator or whatever, the supreme being or beings reveal themselves through the physics. You know, they're creators of this existence. And it's incumbent upon us to try to understand more about this wondrous creation.
Who created this thing? Who's running this thing? Like embodying it into a singular question with a sexy word on top of it is like focusing the mind to understand. It does seem like there's again, it could be an illusion. It seemed like there's a purpose, that there's an underlying master plan of some kind.
There may not be a master plan. Maybe an interesting answer to the question of determinism versus free will is that if we are in a simulation, the reason that these higher beings would hold a simulation is to see what happens. They don't know what happens. Otherwise, they wouldn't hold the simulation. When humans create a simulation, so at SpaceX and Tesla, we create simulations all the time, especially for the rocket. You know, you have to run a lot of simulations to understand what's going to happen because you can't really test the rocket until it goes to space and you want it to work. So you have to simulate subsonic, transonic, supersonic, hypersonic, ascent and then coming back, super high heating, total dynamics, all this is going to be simulated. If we knew what happens, we wouldn't run the simulation. So whoever created this existence, they're running it because they don't know what's going to happen.
Facebook movie is a giant lie. It's a propaganda piece. That was a Pentagon program called LifeLog. LifeLog is a Pentagon program that wants to collect all your data for your whole life. What day did the government stop the LifeLog project? Whoa.
The rabbit hole that we've been getting into. Facebook was started the day after DARPA ended its program. Real tricky, right? And especially the circumstances that Mark Zuckerberg obtained the full existence of the Facebook Corporation or Meta.
LifeLog project, February 4th, 2004.
What day was Facebook registered as a business?
Oh my God, no way, bro.
The exact same day. They don't even hide it, dude.
It was created by DARPA.
Yeah, they handed it to Mark Zuckerberg. And then the Vossel twins.
What about the other? Yeah.
That's all. And that's why they became the first Bitcoin millionaires, because they played ball.
Oh my God.
It's all theater, dude.
So what is the purpose of LifeLog?
To collect all your data for your whole entire life. All these billionaires say they started in a garage.
Yeah.
And then the garage is just all Freemason, satanic symbolism in the garage. Amazon was created in DARPA. They gave it to the guy. They're like, okay, you're the guy. They start with books. They work out the kinks with books. And once that gets to the point where it's like fully functional, now they put it out to everywhere. So they gave it to him.
I have inside information on Jeffrey Epstein and why the U.S. government is reluctant to be more transparent. And I know this because when I was working in government, meetings were not how shall we tell the public, but what shall we tell the public. So often the best we can get in our skepticism is to know that we are not being told the truth.
I think people need to know the truth.
So put on your seatbelt. I'm going to tell you everything. And all senior people in the U.S. government know everything that you and I have discussed here today.
So you've been behind the scenes with some of the most successful, richest, most powerful people on planet Earth. But what is it you do, Gavin?
So I do protective coverage, any of the ways that wealthy or prominent people might be targeted. For example, the Saudi Arabian government obtained a system which can get into your phone, used it on Jeff Bezos. So our work was to figure out how it happened.
Why would a government want to hack the founder of Amazon's phone?
So I'll tell you in a second, but we're all not as careful as we could be in terms of what we say, what we text, and there is absolutely no protection viable for the confidentiality of your phone. Do you have any skepticism about that?
I just have a lot of ignorance to how this whole world works.
Lucky you. But all power centers in human history lie. There are some examples of this where it will start telling the truth about something, but years later. Things like cancer causing asbestos in baby powder, 100,000 people dying from heart attacks from opioids, and we'll see it with mass vaccination.
Yes.
It's going to cause the biggest financial crash in history.
AI.
Yeah.
AI.
Mark my words. The reason is because AI cannot measure insanity. So when there's a panic, AI is going to kick in and they're going to sell. So that's what happened 2 years ago. Silicon Valley Bank, the machines went off and it nearly destroyed the whole bank. So my prediction is that artificial intelligence is going to cause the biggest banking crash in history. We're about 3 or 4 months away from it right now.
What about at job positions, when it comes to job positions?
Already, I don't even know this, but unemployment's going through the roof. All technology workers, all the guys who thought their jobs were safe, Google, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, they're letting people go like crazy.
Has spent more than a decade cutting down trees for a living and says he's seen just about everything that can turn up on a property. That's why this find stopped him in his tracks.
Very curious, and we're very interested. So how old is that thing?
While taking a break with his crew, Tim starts filming an old tree at the back of the property.
So check this out. That tree is clearly 300 years old, probably 200.
As the camera moves closer to the trunk, something immediately stands out.
What is this?
Embedded deep inside the tree is a stone.
That ain't natural.
The stone appears flat and deliberate. It has straight edges, faint markings, and features that don't look natural at all.
Exactly do we experience after death? In Between Life and Death, Dolores Cannon cites her thousands of past life regression sessions that describe death not as an end, but as a transition into a different state of existence focused on learning and evolution. Cannon also describes how, after one dies, they usually see how, quote, fake their earthly life was, often describing the whole thing as a play, where everyone seems to be just acting and playing roles, completely oblivious to how fake everything and everyone is until they die. According to her, death is a painless lifting of weight and a feeling of freedom. The personality remains intact, and the individual often looks down at their physical body with detachment or even amusement. A silver cord, which acts as a lifeline between the soul and the physical body, is severed at the moment of death. Many patients also often describe a white light or portal that sucks the soul up into the spirit realm. Upon crossing over, souls are often met by greeters, who are usually loved ones who have passed on previously, or spirit guides, whose role is to help the newly deceased orient themselves and realize they are no longer in the physical world. The spirit world itself is described as containing vast schools and libraries, and souls attend classes to learn about the universe, their own history, and to prepare for future incarnations. Michael Newton, PhD, in Journey of Souls, corroborates this, citing his sessions, which described how once a soul is ready to reincarnate, they enter a place of life selection, described as a, quote, ring of destiny, or a screening room. Here, they view potential future lives on screens, seeing fragments of what might happen in different bodies. These souls undergo intense training in the spirit realm so as to set up the proper subconscious cues so they can be guided towards their soul mission and soul mates in their earthly incarnation. These souls then choose a body that offers the best opportunity for their specific learning goals. The return to Earth involves a rapid descent, likened to sliding down a tube. The soul joins with the fetus, melding its energy with the developing brain of the baby, often months before birth. Brian Weiss, in Many Lives, Many Masters, presents similar findings, also stating how highly evolved entities, referred to as, quote, the masters, communicate with souls in the spirit state, and that they provide wisdom regarding the purpose of life, which is to learn virtues such as charity, hope, faith, and love. Neurosurgeon Eben Alexander, in Proof of Heaven, also describes his near-death experience, where he described entering a realm that was, quote, ultra-real, and that it was so much more vivid and substantial than physical life on Earth. He describes the physical world as, quote, dreamlike in comparison to the clarity of the spirit realm.
Everybody has their subjective opinions about what happens to us after the life ends on this realm, and the spirit goes wherever it goes, or perhaps we feel it ends here.
First, it was the AI actress. Now, Coca-Cola has an AI commercial. What's next? Coca-Cola just made an AI holiday commercial, and let's talk about it. The Los Angeles studio that created it used only about 20 people. Normally, they would need 50 or more, so what does that mean for us? Is it over if advertisers start using AI to make their ads and slash the crew in half? Does that mean half the people are gonna lose their jobs? Now, they say they're gonna make up for it by doing more ads to keep the spending up, but let's just be real. Some of those jobs are not coming back. And are we using AI for the music in the ad? Are those real voices or is it synthetic? Are any actors getting paid? Where are we headed? Who loses when the crew gets smaller? PAs, background actors. What about set dressers? Since there's no humans, I guess we don't need hair and makeup. What happens to camera and lighting? Do we need voice actors? If synthetic voices replace all the little lines, tell me what you think. As usual, follow me for more Hollywood Insider tips.
Burger King has now entered the taste test chat.
Not bad.
Burger King's president, Tom Curtis, wanted to show what a proper bite of a burger looks like.
Only one thing missing, a napkin.
The video came after the McDonald's CEO, Chris Kędzimski, caught heat for a reaction video he posted trying a new menu item.
The big arch.
People flocked to the internet to call out the CEO for his taste test being a tad insincere.
This man does not eat McDonald's. He looks like he would try and read the ingredients on the back of a banana.
I love this product. It is so good.
He calls the burger the product.
And for lacking bang to his bite.
Moment of truth. Big bite for a big arch.
That's a big bite for the big arches.
In response, McDonald's posted to Instagram with this caption, "Can't believe this got approved."
Where's the Garden of Eden?
Well, when you read the stories, right, the thing that strikes you is that it's so specific. Like, it says things in talking about the Garden of Eden that, wait a minute, if I can't find what you're talking about, this isn't even real. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like where the Garden of Eden was, there's, I think, 4 rivers that come from it. And then it names 2 of them. Like, I don't want to be specific because at least he's going to bring it up. But it's like the Nile and the Euphrates, right?
Right.
So you know 2 of them. And it's saying, you know, where the 4 meet, this is where it is. And, yeah, my whole life I was like, This is really weird, because at one period of time we're thinking no flood happens. There's so many things that have lined up from these great religious books to where we can see that, no, something happened here. Like,
something happened, and these are stories of people telling stories that have been told to them for about 1,000 years.
But this is why, right?
This right here might be the location of the Garden of Eden. I'm in Iraq right now, standing at the meeting point of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. And this right here shows that this might be where Adam and Eve once lived. I can't believe it. I honestly never imagined I would get to see this with my own eyes. It's incredible just picturing how lush and amazing it might have been like back in the day.
Okay guys, major breaking news. This war has now officially entered Asia. We're unlocking new parts of this map every day, so 140 people are currently missing after a US submarine has sunk an Iranian Navy ship with a torpedo in international waters off the coast of Sri Lanka. Now, important detail, this is the first time that America has sunk an enemy ship using a torpedo since World War II. And if you guys are wondering where Sri Lanka is, here. This is the Indian Ocean. Everything that's usually been happening in kind of the war zone of 3,000 miles was about here. Now, we're entering this territory. Ain't no way. Now, this was confirmed by the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, saying that America is winning decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. 180 people were reportedly on this boat. Ship. It's not a boat. And so far, 32 people have been rescued, with 140 more currently missing.
We're going to take those numbers and we're going to take them with a grain of salt, because I have heard, as a non-biased media fascist, independent journalist, that the numbers are being skewed. America is not giving us the correct footage and narrative that is going on in reality. Let me know what y'all heard inside the country. We got UK, we got LA, we got Africa. We got a lot of different people in the global community. Tap in.
On your phone, the government might be watching. An internal DHS document obtained by 404 Media reveals Customs and Border Protection tapped into the online advertising system to track people's movements without a warrant. Here's how it works. Every app on your phone has an advertising ID. When an ad loads, companies bid in milliseconds to show you that ad. During that auction, surveillance firms quietly siphon your exact location. CBP bought that data and used it to build a map of where people go, where they sleep, and where they work. The program was supposed to target criminal activity, but the Inspector General found CBP, ICE, and the Secret Service all used it illegally. One CBP official even used it to track their own coworkers.
Without breaking it, removing the shell and keeping the membrane intact and sewing it together. And it begs the question, would you trust an AI robot to do a surgery more than a human?
Our kitchen here at Wendy's to try Baconator today. Of course, we're starting with our Wendy's square patty, fresh, never frozen beef. Absolutely nothing better. Oh, of course, you gotta have a Frosty with a burger. Is this set up today? Oh wait, our machines are always working. I've been waiting for this all day. Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef, our Applewood smoked bacon, our brand new bun, our square burger cooked on a flat grill. Amazing, absolutely.
This CEO, CFO food war is nefarious, to say the least. Wonderful, actually. Shout out to him for cooking his own burger. I'm a vegetarian plus 20 plus years, so I don't know what that tastes like. So y'all let me know. Still fire or what?
Wonderful. That's a burger.
This is exactly the way a great hamburger should be.
Crazy things about Bob Ross is that he actually did each painting 3 times. 1 before the show for reference, 2 live during the show, and then he would do it a 3rd time for his instructional book.
This police robot from China can reach 35 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds. Designed to neutralize high-risk threats, it's equipped with a net launcher and can withstand 4 tons of force. Early testing for this robot has begun in the city of Wenzhou.
We have a god who's half fish and half man, a god named Dagon. Dagon was a fish god. Here in the Jewish Encyclopedia, under the heading of Dagon, you will see a picture of the priest of Dagon, or the god himself, and he's wearing a fish head and the body of a fish down his back. So now we see the Pope's headdress. On the top is the Pope's mitre. But when turned, you then see he's actually wearing a fish head, the fish god Dagon, because he's representing the worship of an ancient Phoenician god. It's a fish symbol because it's denoting Dagon, the fish god. The significance is Dagon was a very important mystical god to the ancient peoples in the Middle East, in Babylonia, Sumeria, Phoenicia, Canaan. And that very powerful mystical god is still dominating the spirit and the intellectual thinking of religion even to today.
We're going to end it on that. I think it was a lot of jam-packed information in that compilation. Let me know how y'all feel about it. Let me know, send me anything you want me to react to. We're a community over here. We have one narrative, one band, one sound, one person. You never know everything. So the community, we're going to figure it all out. Be sure you pop out to the live, intellectual street thoughts. I am your humble host, Cash, capital K, $ for the S. We're in this thing called life together. Let's keep it going.